Honestly, I thought Joseph Woll was the best goaltender in the Maple Leafs organization this year. And I'm not sure at the start of the season that's what I believed at all, but by the middle, I was pretty firm in that. Now, I think Samsonov had some really nice runs this season. Murray, obviously up and down. His game was good to start. It cratered towards the middle part of the season. Then he got hurt all the time. But Woll's consistency in the arc of his career has led to this point. And I did want to see him play games down the stretch for this exact reason. You know, you look at what he did during the regular season with a .932 save percentage. He won 6 games. Like, he did everything he could have shown between the American League and the NHL to be ready for this moment. Now, this isn't a guarantee that the Leafs are going to come back and win 4 straight with him in net. But I can't help but question, you know, Samsonov, that wasn't a massive hit that he took in the game from Shen the other night. You know, we thought he was battling something all down the stretch, and that played into my thought process. You know, if Woll's healthy, this might be the guy, and it's his consistency, right? His game is very clean. He doesn't lose his net very often. He plays between his posts. He reads the puck, reads the play pretty well. This is exciting, but then again, he's also got room to grow because Reinhardt's game winner the other night, hey, let's face it, that wasn't a great goal against. Got caught out a little bit, was a little bit unaware on it. But I think he'll learn from it. And the big question is, can he win 4 straight? Because that's what he's facing now in his rookie season for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, and so in that situation, like, my thought would be there's some pressure. He doesn't seem to be nervous or anything like that. But like, Mike, you've played in games, many games where you would have felt a lot of pressure, right? Going up and down between the NHL and AHL in your times when you're up. I'm sure you've been affected by pressure. How would it affect a goaltender, you know, feeling maybe a little bit uptight about your situation?
Yeah, it can be tough, no doubt. I do think, though, that with the amount of games that Woll has played in the NHL and knowing that he's got some juice behind him, guys, like, that matters so much. His next 2 seasons, those are one-way contracts, fellas. Okay, so it's not like the Maple Leafs are looking at this as a tryout for Joseph Woll. Maybe it is at the NHL level, but his next 2 years are one-way contracts. That shows to me that the organization not only believes in him, but they have a plan for him. You know, they have Murray next year under contract, but beyond that, Samsonov, he's a free agent. There's no guarantee he's going to be back. So I think it's been a good lead up for him. You know, especially coming through those COVID years that were so strange. He battled injury. These last 2 years, he's been able to solidify himself, and he's a really smart goaltender. He's a really intelligent person in the first place. I've known him since he was 14 years old. You know, we used to go on the ice coaching him with a guy named Bruce Racine in St. Louis here. Racine played in the NHL and in the American League IHL for years, and we always marveled at how well and how quickly Joseph picked things up and just his overall demeanor. I don't think he's fazed by this stepping into the playoffs. And to find somebody who's that mentally strong to play for the Leafs is a necessity. Like, you have to have it because you can't hide there. So it's no guarantee. But of all the people that I've known throughout the years for a young prospect, I'd say Woll's towards the top of the heap of those that I believe going into it can handle this type of situation.
So Woll looks 200 feet across from him, and he sees a guy that has a reputation for imploding in Bobrovsky. Why hasn't it happened yet?
Man, it's a great question because, you know, Bob is like a really streaky goaltender in my eyes. And I've seen him this year. I think it was early January when the Florida Panthers started winning games. He started to stand on his head, and he did it for, 6, 7, 8 games. And then he really came back down to earth hard. And part of that to me is just how loose Florida plays defensively. Like, there's an intentional recklessness to their game. And that doesn't always translate to great defense. And right now, Bob is outplaying the team in front of him. I'm not certain he can keep that up, but I sure think he can do it for one more out of the next 4 games. So, you know, Bob's game has always been built on explosiveness. It has been built with a technical foundation. I think he's probably a little bit too elastic for today's game in some ways, but he's also controlled that a little bit more, I think, in the latter half of the season. So really what it comes down to, dude, Bob's feeling the flow, man. And he goes on these runs, 5, 6, 7, 8 games where he can just be unbeatable. What you have to hope is that he can maintain some level of consistency when he does fall off, because at some point it'll happen. And I think if you're the Panthers, you're hoping it's only a 1 or 2 game dip rather than the 5, 6 like you'd seen during the regular season.